Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of CTRL INDIE. Today I have a very special guest with me, the creator and developer of a game I have been waiting for a long time. A game full of color, explosions, science fiction, and chiptune music. I'm talking about the incredible Mala Petaka. For this, I'll let the guest introduce himself.
My name is Sanditio Bayu, and some people call me Sandy, or you can call me Jitok, Jitok. And I am a freelance pixel artist and also happen to make some games.
So well, Sandy, can you tell me about your history and what led you to pursue game development?
Originally, I am an illustrator who happens to love everything retro game related, such as game modding, pixel art, and chiptune. One of the games that I like to mod is Doom, and the mods that I made are just weapon mods and sprite mods until finally I saw some commercial games like Head On, Supplies, and Celaco, which were made with the GZDoom engine. And I'm interested to make a commercial GZDoom project myself after I saw that. Since I have a basic modding skills in GZDoom, I finally started making Mala Petaka in October 2021. So Mala Petaka is probably my first commercial game.
What was the inspiration behind your decision to become an indie game developer?
In 2020, I saw an event called Realms Deep. An event that showcased many indie boomer shooters from around the world, and that event really inspired me a lot. And this event is the event that made me love retro FPS genre again. As I said before, some GZDoom based games like Celaco and the other games really inspired me to make games with similar engine and similar genre.
Can you share any pivotal experiences or mentors who play a crucial role in your development?
I don't have any game dev mentor, but I have a mentor in pixel art. So I don't have any game dev backgrounds. But when I first posted a little preview of Mala Petaka on Twitter, it's in 2021, I think. At that time, the game didn't have a name yet and was just a preview of enemy sprites being shot with machine guns and a background filled with checkerboard walls. A friend of mine, Fahmi Hasni, may he rest in peace. He is famous as the creator of interactive visual novel game Coffee Talk. Retweeted the preview that I made on Twitter. And well, it turned out that he had many mutuals who happened to be filled with famous people from indie game scene. Until finally, the preview was retweeted by New Blood Interactive boss himself, Dave Osry, and I think it was the first time I was motivated to seriously finish this game.
So, Sandy, can you share some details about your current project and the inspiration behind it?
Yes, I'm currently still working on Mala Petaka. It's a retro FPS survival game. And I have always had a dream to be a game developer since I was a kid, and I think Mala Petaka is a game that I really want to make and play. Mala Petaka itself is heavily inspired by games that I like, such as Prey 2006, Quake, and Mega Man. The game also have many elements that I love, such as colorful pixel art, fast-paced action, and beautiful chiptune music.
What elements drive the choices you make in your creative projects?
I am an artist who loves to create colorful pixel arts, who also happens to love boomer shooters, and I thought these two things could be combined into something. I also happen to really like the Mega Man series, especially the one on the NES console. Therefore, I thought the elements that this game has, such as colorful pixel art and engaging chiptune music, are also interesting to be included in this game. Actually, there is already a Doom mod that has these elements, and this mod is called Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch. Maybe you can Google it. But unfortunately, this game only has Deathmatch mod, and I don't like Deathmatch games. That's why I made Mala Petaka, because Mala Petaka is more focused on single player only.
Do your decisions favor certain genres or gameplay mechanics over others?
Well, actually, the gameplay is as basic as destroying all enemies and finding the key to get to the exit, like classic Doom or Quake 1. But I put Mega Man elements into it, like weapons we get from one boss can be used to defeat other bosses more easily. Also, we can choose the level that we want to play first, like in Quake 1's hub map. I also added an instant fist barrage element that can be used to kill enemies, and it can make enemies drop a lot of armor and health bonuses when you kill it with fists. Actually, this element was inspired by Doom 2016 and our Doom Eternal Glory Kill.
What strategies do you use to balance creativity and player expectations?
Even though what I made is something made from a mixture of various elements that may have nothing to do with each other or even sound like it doesn't work, I try to make this game still feel familiar with games that people have played. Like I said before, the gameplay is as basic as destroying all enemies and finding the key like Doom, but I add some a little bit Mega Man element. So yeah, and I made Mala Petaka with the perspective of a player. So if I don't like this game, it means I failed to present it to other players, I think.
What is your strategy for game design and how do you develop your concepts?
Okay, to answer this question, maybe I can start from map design. From map design, I play a lot of Doom Megawatts, and some of my favorites are Ancient Aliens by Skillsoul and Eternity by Dragonfly. FYI, Dragonfly is also made some maps for an indie game called Proteus. It's also a boomer shooter game, and it has a very good map design layouts. Also, Ancient Aliens and Eternity have influenced me a lot in making map designs. And what I like about these two megawatts is that the maps looks very complex, but it won't make us confused or even stuck. We don't need to keep looking back to back at the auto map to see where we are and where to go. And I think this is an example of a good map design. For other ideas besides map design, I have previously explained that I am inspired by interesting elements from games that I enjoy playing, like Mega Man, Quake, Doom, etc.
Can you explain your development process from the initial idea to the game's release?
For the development process, I always start from rough sketch, whether it's for character design, cutscene, or even map design. I also always measure my ability in working, considering that working as a solo dev is a tough job. Therefore, some of the Mala Petaka designs I made were not too detailed or over the top. One example is none of the Mala Petaka enemy design have legs. None have legs. I made this so that I don't need to make walking animation for all the sprites. Imagine how many sprites I have to make just to complete one type of enemy. And for the weapon design, I was inspired by the Nerf gun toy. Yeah. Usually I take a photo of the Nerf gun toy that I'm holding to get the perspective, and I redraw it from scratch with my original weapon design.
Do you have any technique or strategy that you use for bug handling, testing, and quality assurance in your projects?
Well, previously I handled almost everything myself. In Indonesia, it is very difficult to find gamers who like boomer shooters, so yes, I need to do it myself. Until finally, I joined Hellforce Studios, which happened to contain many people who are active in the boomer shooter scene and GZDoom scene. And Hellforce Studios helped me a lot in terms of playtesting and QA for Mala Petaka. They help a lot.
Can you share any technical, financial, or emotional challenges you've faced during your development process?
Technically, making a game with GZDoom is quite challenging, considering that this engine is very niche and the tutorials on the internet are really scattered everywhere, so I need some extra time to find what I need to know. But luckily, I joined Hellforce Studios and they are ready to help me if there is something technical that I don't understand in this engine. Also, financially, it is quite challenging. FYI, first 2 years of Mala Petaka development, I worked as a graphic designer from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and my nights and weekends were filled by working on Mala Petaka little by little. Until finally my contract as a graphic designer was terminated in early 2024. This was quite stressful for me financially, but luckily Hellforce also helped me with a bit of funding, and this was the first year I was able to focus on working on Mala Petaka until it was finished.
What approaches did you take to successfully overcome these hurdles?
The important thing is not to give up, and I really have to make sure that finishing Mala Petaka is one of the things that I think is very important to me because I really want to play this. Same thing with my pixel art career. As long as I am happy with and consistent with what I make, it will produce something really good for me in the future. I hope.
So, Sandy, what's the most valuable lesson you've gained from your development experiences?
Understand your limits and believe in yourself. Working routinely and hard is necessary, but I have to remember that I am also a human being who needs eat, drink, and rest. No matter how difficult the challenge is or how important the job is, we must be aware that our mental health is also important. Mental health and physical.
How do you ensure a balance between your game development work and your personal life?
Every weekday, Monday to Friday, I always have a schedule work on Mala Petaka, and usually I always work from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. work routinely. But there are also times on weekdays that I don't work on Mala Petaka all day. Usually, if I have non-game dev needs on weekdays, I try to take overtime a day or 2 days before that day, so the progress of Mala Petaka's development schedule is not interrupted.
Can you tell us about a game you've worked on that is particularly meaningful to you?
Actually, I haven't made many games yet, so you could say that Mala Petaka is a game that I think is very special among other games that I ever made, because this game contains elements of everything that I like, from chiptune, pixel art, science fiction, and boomer shooter. Also, FYI, Mala Petaka is the first commercial game that I ever developed. I already talked to you about this before.
Can you share a feature or aspect of your project that you feel especially proud of?
I'm proud with the instant fist barrage weapon fire feature, especially called shotgun secondary, that can make you dash, and some environmental features, especially warp portals and shootable eyes that can be used to help kill enemy easier. That are my personal favorite feature that in Mala Petaka, and that's what I think that makes Mala Petaka interesting and different from the other boomer shooter games. To be honest, I often play Mala Petaka over and over again because of those features, even though the game is not finished.
Do you have a top choice for game engine, programming language, and art tool?
Yes, for game development, GZDoom is still my favorite tool. With this engine, I don't need to have good 3D skills to create an FPS games, because the base is 2.5D. It's not actual 3D. You can do a 3D in this engine, but you can also not doing with 3D. So yeah, that's good for me. Also, the limitations of this engine are also one of the main attractions for me, because with the limitation itself, I am more challenged to maximize it. For art tools, I still use Photoshop until now. This is not because I love Photoshop. Actually, I hate the company, but because I am already used to making almost everything with this software, whether it's simple animation, graphic design, illustration, to pixel art with this software, with these softwares. Yes, it is true that there are many alternative software that have almost similar features, but I still use this software because of personal preference. Actually, I really want to try other softwares, but I think I need more time to learn using new software. While I don't have much time, considering the development of Mala Petaka, which is quite time consuming, and other freelance work. So I don't have a time for that, but I wish if there is a time, I will try to learn other software.
What is your approach to defining a game's art style, color palette, and sound design?
Visually, Mala Petaka is heavily inspired by Mega Man, like I told you before, but considering this is an FPS game, I had to modify the visuals a bit so that all the elements felt more appropriate. I tried to add a fog effect to the map design so that the contrasting colors from the textures don't tire the player's eyes faster. And each episode also have a different color palette. For example, in the snow level, the color palette is more dominant in white. light brown and sky blue. In the forest level, the color palette is more dominant in brown and green, etc. And for the texture, I usually draw it from a canvas that is 50% smaller than the final result. And this is what makes Mala Petaka look more pixel heavy. Considering this game has visuals dominated by pixel art, I choose 8-bit Sun for the SFX and DGM, the background music. And Mala Petaka's background music itself is filled with music composed by Chiptune artists from the Indonesian Chiptune veterans like Matika, Shakaboy, Son of a Bit, and many more in the future.
What approaches do you take to advertise your game?
I don't have any basic marketing skill, but I usually upload image or video clips of gameplay from the games I create on social media such as Instagram and Twitter once or twice every week. And in the content I create, I always focus on what I really want to present without a long duration, considering that people's attention span on social media is short. Sometimes I also use several hashtags related to the games I create, so I think it could help with the visibility. Knowing the niche of the game we create is also no less important, so that will make it easier for us to target who we want to market our game to. Yeah, because Mala Petaka is quite niche.
Can you recall any significant moments from your game launch experiences?
When Mala Petaka got access to publish its store on Steam, at the same time, the Indonesian government blocked access to Steam and other websites, including PayPal. Well, it's very ugly, and for an unknown reason, I don't know why. This made me quite angry at the time, and fortunately, Chris Anthony, CEO of Toge Production, immediately contacted the government and Steam to discuss the blocking issue, because with this blocking, many Indonesian game devs and artists would be harmed. And not long after, Steam and several previously blocked websites were unblocked, although some still cannot be accessed in Indonesia, one of which is Reddit. Reddit still cannot be opened here. Yeah. But I think it's still better because I can access Steam again, including PayPal, because without PayPal, I don't know how I receive my money.
Which platforms do you like to use for game distribution, and why do you prefer them?
Steam is still the suitable platform for Mala Petaka, I think, since it's filled with many games that have similar genre with Mala Petaka. I also thinking about GOG, but it's the publisher decision, and I haven't talked about it. But if it could, I will.
What strategies do you employ to engage with your community, and how do they contribute to your development process?
Well, I follow some people in the Mumur shooter scene on social media, like Twitter, and some of them also follow me, and I follow them back. I try to interact with them by replying to their tweets, giving opinions about the games they are talking about, and so on. From there, I can take some notes for what I should do with Mala Petaka. What I also learn a lot from social media is how I should respond to Korean issues, what things can make people happy, angry, or sad. So this can be a lesson for me to not to do some things that can offend people on social media, because I don't want to be canceled.
What strategies do you use to manage feedback, criticism, and player support, whether it's positive or negative?
I always try to give them a positive response, even though some of their feedbacks are not what I need in my game. Also, sometimes I'm not responding to every feedbacks because some of those responses are bad opinions from people who just need attention, not because he really cares about the game.
Are there any personal projects that you are particularly passionate about?
Yeah, Mala Petaka, of course. I don't need to explain much why I'm passionate about this project because I've talked about it before. And the second one is a horror game that I'm also working on with my illustrator friend, Khalid Al-Bakazi. You can find him on Instagram. This game is titled Null, N-O-L, Null. It means in English it's zero in English.
Okay.
Well, you can see the preview screenshot of this game on my Instagram story or my Twitter post some time ago. It also met with GZDoom engine, same engine that I make Mala Petaka. But I still cannot talk about this game any further because I wish, because I wish that you can play this game sooner since the game is very short. Because I thought if I talk about the game, it will spoil
Yeah.
how about the game. Yeah, so you need just to play it.
So, Sandy, what's in store for you? And can you reveal any future projects?
I'll continue working on my GB Studio game. In case you don't know, GB Studio is a software for making Game Boy games, Game Boy and Game Boy Color. So it is compatible with the real handheld. And the game I made with this software is called Samsul UMKM. It's a top-down adventure game with Indonesian jokes in it. So yes, this game was just for Indonesian audiences. And also, I'm currently working on a very short horror game called Null that I told you before. And if this game have a good response from the player after the launch, maybe I will continue to work on a sequel for it with a longer gameplay. And I will make it more commercial because the first game will be free. So and will be short. Yeah.
What words of wisdom would you offer to future indie game developers?
Don't give up. If you are solo dev, please don't push yourself too much and don't be shy to ask for help for your game development. Don't be shy also because working solo is very tiring. How much fun it is will be tiring. Also, don't forget to eat good food, drink some water, and do some exercises. So your fixing still be good.
Are there any recent trends or shifts in the industry that you are enthusiastic or apprehensive about?
I am a bit concerned with the massive layoffs everywhere, and most of my friends unemployed right now. So yeah, I'm really concerned. Plus, many people worship generative AI too much. That they think that artwork made by human hands is no longer needed. In fact, one of the things that makes a work of art unique and valued is not only the results, but how the work was created. One example, I like a traditional artist who creates artwork traditional with watercolors because I know drawing with watercolors is difficult as hell because I myself still find it difficult to use watercolors in drawing. Then an AI browse appeared and said that an artist will be left behind if he doesn't use generative AI. If suddenly that watercolor guy followed that his AI browse said, I wouldn't think twice about unfollowing him because the most interesting thing about him is gone. The drawing manually with watercolors. This is what I think AI bros don't understand. Each artist has their own unique way of creating art, and their way of creating art cannot be forced by anything. If you say that these artists are outdated, how come old art forms like chiptune music, hand-drawn pixel art, and retro games are still popular with both old and young people until now?
So, to finish this interview, Sandy, do you have any words for your fans or followers?
I don't know, maybe just wishlist Mala Petaka on Steam and wait for the new demo because the current demo on Steam is unbelievably messy, too long, and unbalanced here and there. And I think that's all. Also, don't forget to eat good food and drink water and do exercises.
So, Sandy, thank you very much for your time. To everyone who's listening or watching the show, please make sure to wishlist Mala Petaka on Steam and follow Sandy on your favorite social platforms. My name is Juan Jose, and see you next time.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this video are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Control Plus Indie and its owner. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The Control Plus Indie name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization. product, or service. All information, images, videos, or any multimedia content shown in this show is copyrighted. All rights reserved for Sanditio Bayu, Mala Petaka, and its publisher.